Hi everyone, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So, before I get started, I'm going to show you the last artwork that I did. So, I was really happy with this, how it got like the metallic river kind of system over here, and then the pearls came up over this area. The colours aren't showing up as good on camera. I think it needs a good varnish, and then it will make all those colours pop a bit more. But I'm really happy with it. Only one problem, little bug decided to wiggle through here and over there, but there's not much I can do about that. It's the season for bugs here well, for Australia there's bugs all year round, but they just seem to love my artworks. So what I'm going to do today is, I haven't done one of these for quite a while. It's a cloud pour, dirty pour. So instead of layering the cloud paint, I pour the cloud paint into the base coat and go from there. So I've actually got out some of my old colours this time, because I've got to mix them with satin enamel, which is the decoart satin enamels. Any colour you mix that with will go a little bit more pastel. So I decided to get pastel colours because they don't change too much. So I've got Old Global and Eraldo de Paulo in Wisteria and Bora. So they're my two pearl colours. And the actual base colour is marte phthalo blue. So the deep blue will kind of disappear a fair bit, but you'll see parts of it. And you'll get the pastel colours come up in kind of like pearls. So you get pearls or cells, but in a different way to how you would with other cloud pours. So it's actually quite fun. So the two pearl colours, or cloud colours, I have mixed 16 grams paint, 5 grams satin enamel, and then 42 grams floetrol. So they're 2 to 1, virtually. If you add up the colour of the paint and the satin enamel, then I doubled it with the floetrol. Then the base coat is 40 grams paint, 80 grams floetrol, and 17 grams water, just to thin that little bit more. And this canvas is only an 11 by 14 because I couldn't find my other size canvas. First, I am just going to give this another little stir. Sometimes these paints like to thicken up a little bit. I mixed them, I would say, approximately 45 minutes to an hour ago. I just wanted to mix them up, and then I got busy watching a YouTube video, so that is why it's not, I haven't poured straight away. And they have thickened up. I can feel there's a different consistency within it, so by stirring it, it kind of makes that consistency back even all over again. And the wooden pop sticks also kind of suck the moisture out too, which makes it a little bit thick where the pop stick is sitting. So I don't know if they're a little bit thick compared to what I would normally do, because I haven't done one for a while. My brain can't actually remember if they were as thin or not. But they're not overly thick, but they are leaving a mound. More of a mound than the base coat. The base coat hasn't thickened up too much. So what we've got to do now is, oops, I didn't get one ready. Is that going to be big enough? You know what? I'm going to use a bigger cup just so I can actually make sure I've got it. These were given to me by a friend, so thanks so much, Suzanne. Always good to have some nice sturdy cups. So we're going to pour about 1/3 of this in. Actually, maybe about 1/4. You don't want too much of it in. Then we're going to go half of the light pastel blue, half of the pastel purple. Then I'm just going to add a drop of that in, and then we go back and drop this in. Now we do drop this from a height. The last little bit can settle on top, but you want most of it to crash down into it to become like a dirty pour. Then you get the wisteria or the purple and do the same. Crash that down into it. Okay. Now I'm not going to bother putting any more of the blue on top of that. That's going to start creating some reactions in there, but it doesn't really matter. We just wanted that ready. And then we're going to pour our base coat down. There's not a lot of base coat left, but that doesn't matter. Use whatever utensil you prefer. I use a palette knife, and we just want to spread this around. I do like to go over the edges, especially at the corners. If you don't want to go over the edges over the whole canvas, just do your corners. For the simple fact that you need something there. Just helps the paint go over, and in case you don't end up going all the way over the edge, it's got some paint color there. Otherwise you will have a little bald spot on your canvas, and it's not exactly ideal. And again, you don't need tons of paint as a base. You just need something so it's a little bit, the best way to describe it, slippery for the paint to go over. Just so it's got something to glide across. I am just going to do my edges only because it's what I do. But it isn't 100% necessary. I'm trying to do this quickly for you guys, so I'm not delaying you too much. It's not a huge canvas, so it won't take too long. Sorry about my head being in the way and probably my messy hair. Today is, well, I'm going to say a lazy day, but I'm probably going to be doing housework, so I don't need to do my hair for any special reason. And if you wanted to tilt, you could probably mix up just a little bit extra paint, and then you could tilt over the edges instead of spreading it out like this. I just don't like wasting too much if I can, because a lot will end up getting tilted off anyway. So, and then all we do is just spread it out so it's even-ish. When I say even-ish, I mean it doesn't have to be perfect. You just don't want to have all your paint on one side and nothing on the other. Okay. So that is that done. And yeah, pastel artworks isn't something I do very often, but one of my favorites is actually one that I did in a purple and a Naples yellow, which is, it's really an orangey color, but a real pastel peachy orange, and I love it. So I'm going to try this one. So we're going to bend the cup to make a spout, and then ultimately just dirty pour straight down into the middle. Okay, I had to catch that then because it wasn't sinking, it was sitting on top. And we don't want that to happen when I should have put gloves on, I think. Now what we've got to do is we have to let this sit for a minute. If you start tilting straight away, you're going to get cells, clouds, but you actually get better ones when you just let it settle in. So you can see some coming up already, and there is tons of bubbles in this, so I will end up torching it as well. Can you see the effects coming up throughout it? Go away. The effects are coming up throughout it. We're getting some cloud marks and get me blue torch out. Okay. As you can see, the torch has brought up some effects, but it's still developing. It's still creating what it wants to do. And by using the two pastel-y colours which are mixed with the satin enamel, so there was bora, which is a really light blue, kind of a tinge on the greener side blue, and the wisteria, which is just like a very soft purple. But they mix with that phthalo blue, and then you end up actually getting a light blue coming into it as well. So that's why I only added two colours of the satin enamel mix, the cloud mix, just because I knew that I would end up getting blue in there too. The blue may not come up as much as a cell or a pearl, but it will still get these nice effects where it's mixed through. So I might give that one more little torch. So it does take time for the bubbles to sometimes come to the surface. Okay, I think it might be time for me to tilt. The longer you leave it, the more effects you may get up, but I'm going to tilt now just so I don't keep you guys too long. And again, I try not to over tilt these. I kind of want the effects. I don't want everything to go too much out of shape. So I'm just going slowly. You will have to tilt a bit faster once you get closer to the corner. But I'm just carrying it across slowly. Maybe could have done with a tiny bit more base coat because it's starting to roll instead of glide. I'm going to have to go a bit faster in a second because it's going to start going over the edge. So, over, come back. And now I'm going to go this way. Got to go over, but I need it to go over that edge too. There we go. and then come back. So sometimes the hard part is it wants to go over the corner but doesn't go quite over the edge. So the same thing's happening where it's going towards the corner, but that bottom of the canvas that's edge that's closest to you, the paint hasn't quite reached there yet. So I'm going to have to go over, but I've got to come back and around and just push it over that bit there. There we go. Bringing it back. I think it's going to do it to all four sides for some reason. So I'm best to do a side first. Go over this one. Come back to the middle. And then bring it down. Hope you guys can still see this. And push that off there. And now bringing it back up. Now if there's any part that you're not keen with, try and push that off now. But I'm just going to wiggle it a little bit up and down. Not too much. But it should start bringing up some more cloud cells. You just got to watch your pattern because you can sometimes start messing the pattern up if you go too far. I might put that down for a sec. I'm just going to double check my corners. Yeah, there's a little, didn't quite go over those corners. So I just run my finger along, grab a little bit of paint, and I just push it against it and then let it drip down. Try and get similar colour to what is already on the corner. I just ran my finger along the edge underneath to get any drips. So neither of these colours are actually going to be overly bold because they were pastels. But as you can see, there's not a lot of dark blue in here, which is what ends up happening. So I'm going to take my gloves off because I'm not going to tilt it anymore because I don't want to change the effects too much more. Now, as you can see, I'm getting these little cells popping up in some of these areas. They may come up in all corners, they may not. Just depends what paint was there and how much it got stretched on that spot. I am going to give it a little torch. This is optional. So there's advantages and disadvantages of torching it after you've tilted it. One is you are getting rid of the extra bubbles, but two, you can also get what I call little pits. So it's where a bubble has popped, but it's not really created a cell. It's just kind of put a little spot in it. And it does change the look a little bit, but it doesn't worry me so much because you really only notice it when you're really close up. But some people might not like it. I don't mind them because it does give a little bit more difference to it. So now all I have to do is let this settle and see what happens. It is very different to my other one. So my other one is a much larger canvas, and sometimes I think the larger canvases can be a little bit easier to work with certain pours. This one, I felt like it wasn't going over the edges so much. It was wanting to go over a corner, but not the sides, which then has given me these, they're kind of cool lines, but it's changed the effect. So the middle isn't so stable. I don't know if, can I reach this one? Yes, I can. You probably won't be able to see the whole thing in the camera frame. This is my purple with that Naples yellow, which is the peachy orange. But I really, really like this. So, quite different effects, but I'm still getting those pearl clouds, or whichever you'd like to think of them as. Just putting that back on the wall where it was. Okay. So now what I'll do is I'm going to pause it for a minute, let this settle in and see what other effects come up, and then we'll come back soon, okay? Okay, so I've left it for probably 10 minutes, cleaned up all my cups, and this is how it is probably going to stay. So there is a little bit more detail on this side, I find, than there is on that side. Just different detail as well. I love these little cells that have popped up over here. I just didn't get them elsewhere, which is I would have liked to have, but they just decided not to. And that's what happens with fluid art. But I do like it. It's different to how I had planned in my head. But that's how things do seem to go at times, especially with fluid art. You kind of just got to run with it and see how it turns out. But yeah, still really pleased. I think there's enough detail in there. So you can see where I have the wisteria, the purple. And then you've got this bora, which is this light blue. And the rest is virtually the phthalo blue, which is mixed with the other colours. That's given all this lighter blues and different shades. So that's the fun part about it. Really, the only dark areas is a little bit patch over here and bits here. And inside where the clouds have come up, they've pushed the darker blue into like crevices. But that's quite cool. So I'm going to bring you down for a close-up, and then that will be it, I think. Okay, there we go. So this definitely is coming out a different colour in the camera to what I see. Let me see if I can change it. That is probably a little bit more accurate. More accurate, but not 100% accurate. But as you can see, there's lots of cool details. Let me just refocus. There we go. See those little cells? They're awesome. You come along, and there is quite a bit of detail in there. Just when you get up close, you'll actually see all these different bits and pieces that are happening. It's only a small little canvas, so it's quite cool. Alrighty, so that's about it for today. So I hope you guys like it. So make a comment, push the like button. My brain's not working. Share the video and subscribe if you have not already. Just hit the bell and click all, and it will show you more videos when they come up. So I may even do another video, make another artwork today, but I probably won't post it up for another day or two. Some of them I like to actually show when they're dry compared to others that are still wet. But I hope you guys like this, and I'll see you soon for another pour. Have a good night. Bye.